Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, yet something deep down is still wrong? On the surface, you're doing amazing. You're turning in all your assignments in on time, smiling ear to ear in all the pictures you're in, and showing up to practice. People constantly tell you how put together you are. Yet, underneath all that, you feel chaos inside. Your hands shake randomly throughout the day. It's hard to breathe, and it's hard to sleep at night. But no one can tell but you. That feeling of juggling everything while struggling quietly inside is all too common today, especially in competitive atmospheres such as the Bay Area. We're expected to excel in school, keep up in sports, and maintain all our friendships while looking effortless, presenting yourselves as ideal models of wellness. However, constantly holding yourself to the seemingly perfect standard of success isn't sustainable, and long-term causes your mental health to take constant dips, each time it being harder and harder to pull yourself out, with the repercussions being more and more long-lasting. The main issue here is that today, the modern idea of wellness is outdated. Today, wellness is most commonly seen as something physical, through weight or through athletic performance. It's also stereotyped as something solely for the older generation. Think your mom's green juice or your dad's latest fad diet. However, glorifying a culture of burnout and perfectionism isn't beneficial, and ironically, long-term prevents you from reaching your goals. Today, the main issue here is that today, wellness is seen as appearances or achievements. If you look a certain way, most commonly muscular or toned, people assume that you are well. Or if you excel academically or athletically, people also assume that you're well. But in this process of only viewing things on the surface and ignoring your emotional and mental health, you're really just setting yourself up for long-term failure, not success. When you ignore internal health markers, such as stress or sleep, it doesn't just impact your mood, it directly changes how your body functions. Chronic stress leads to elevated levels of cortisol, which leads to weight gain, slower muscle recovery, and constant fatigue. This makes it harder to reach the goals that you've been working so hard for, whether that's hitting a new PR in the gym or staying on top of all your extracurriculars. And it doesn't stop there. When stress takes over, it triggers anxiety, which amplifies the cycle. This isn't just impacting your mood, it's impacting your focus, problem-solving skills, and memory, all things needed to succeed in school. Suddenly, the flashcards aren't sticking, your mind draws blank during tests, and nothing makes sense. Constantly pushing yourself to the brink without addressing these internal needs harms you, and you're not really setting yourself up for success. You're setting yourself up for long-term failure. Before 2022, for the most part, I'd been able to not succumb to the stress and anxiety in my routine. I wasn't as happy as I could have been, and I definitely wasn't as successful either, but I was getting by in a long-term loss, short-term gain cycle. Then in 2022, among some other significant challenges in my life, I lost 2 family members within 1 year. The grief hit me really hard, and I became chronically depressed. Suddenly, I wasn't able to power through a pile of assignments, running on 5 hours of sleep, following a 4-hour practice like I used to. I consider myself a doer in life, someone who goes out and gets things done. But suddenly, even getting out of bed became a grueling task. Therapy provided some relief, thanks to my parents' support and resources, but talking about it didn't seem like enough. I was stuck in a really dark place, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get out. One day, my therapist was discussing psychological tools that could help me feel better. At first, I was pretty skeptical. Most of the things she mentioned seemed like things only older people would try. Yet one of them caught my interest: yoga. So tentatively I showed up to my free class on a Sunday morning. I'm not the most flexible person, and I was definitely on the younger side of the room, but something inside me told me to stay. During those 60 minutes, a shift was sparked that I hadn't felt in a really long time. I left that studio physically tired, but feeling something I hadn't in months: hope. This small breakthrough encouraged me to listen more in depth the next time I saw her. Over time, I tried several of her suggestions and found what worked for me. I create a system that I call the 3 R's: reset, recenter, and recharge. These practices became essential to me as I worked to rebuild my life and rewire my brain, and they continue to be a daily part of my life almost 2 years later. Now here's why and how I do all 3. I reset through doing breath work, doing something your body does all the time, automatically, breathing, but intentionally through specific techniques. Do you ever find yourself, anxious before a big test or after a tough conversation, or stressed in the middle of a packed day when you realize how much you have to get done? So then you go on your phone because doom scrolling helps distract your mind and it numbs those feelings. But this backfires because afterwards you feel just as bad, if not worse. Next time, try breathwork. Breathwork actively helps reset your body and mind from the inside out. When you practice controlled breathing at different rates, a positive shift happens inside your brain. You have something called the vagus nerve in your brain, a cranial nerve that is linked to your parasympathetic system, the network of nerves in your body that work to help conserve energy and relax you. When you breathe intentionally, your vagus nerve is stimulated, and in turn activates your parasympathetic system, which helps calm your body. After you breathe intentionally for a few minutes, your heart rate slows, which leaves you feeling more grounded. And with more oxygen going to your brain, you feel higher levels of awareness and clarity. Suddenly, your day doesn't seem so bad. That test doesn't seem so challenging, and you have new positive insight on how to respond to the following conversation. Breathwork is a quick, easy, portable tool that you can use anywhere that will help you regain control over overwhelming situations. I recenter through doing meditation, the practice of focusing your attention to be in the present moment instead of the past or the future. Focusing on your breath, or a mantra, which is a repeated phrase, or even a specific sound around you, brings higher levels of awareness and clarity. I meditate in the morning before school to set up a positive tone for my day, one where I'm grounded and motivated. And at night, I meditate before I go to bed to be able to unwind properly so I can get enough sleep to help me succeed in the next day. When you meditate, 2 parts of your brain are impacted: your prefrontal cortex and your amygdala. Your prefrontal cortex is a part of your brain in charge of reasoning, decision-making, and even your unique personality. Meditating strengthens it, allowing you to focus more, make better decisions for yourself, and have better reasoning on how to approach problems. On the other hand, your amygdala, a small, almond-sized part of your brain, plays a role in emotions such as rage, fear, and anxiety. All these big, overwhelming emotions, most commonly stemming from stress, are shrunken through meditation. This makes stress be more manageable and allows you to find a better way to approach your problems. After a few minutes of meditating, I'm able to view my day with a more positive outlook. I see my to-do list as opportunities to grow as an individual and develop myself further. It also helps me make better choices for myself, such as taking a refreshing walk during a break instead of scrolling my phone. Lastly, I recharge through doing yoga, a Hindu practice that incorporates breathing, stretching, meditation, all the things that I've discussed above. When you do yoga, it is unique because it combines everything together in one, and it helps reset your body and mind. Today, it's a pretty well-known fact that most sports release something called endorphins, feel-good hormones throughout your entire body. However, yoga is unique because it's the only known form of exercise today that also releases GABA. GABA, or gamma-aminobutyric acid, is a neurotransmitter, a chemical in your brain that actively helps regulate your brain activity by doing things like controlling cell activity, such as neurofiring, which is when your brain sends way too many signals at once that overwhelms your body and leaves you feeling stressed. GABA helps regulate this, stopping it from happening. When I do yoga and I leave feeling re-energized, it's because the GABA that is being released in my brain is helping sync my body and mind into one, into a greater sense of harmony. Each time you practice yoga, something amazing happens. Your body is naturally reprogramming itself to handle stress better. something that no other sport can do. This means that the next time you face a stressful situation, thanks to the yoga you did last night or the day before, you will respond to it in a better manner that provides higher success rates, even without even trying. Now, to some, wellness is considered a passing trend, a fad no different from influencer-endorsed diets or detox teas. To others, it's seen indulgent, even selfish, a way to ignore your responsibilities under the guise of self-care. But that's not what wellness is. Wellness isn't a drink or a workout. It's a set of habits to help me rebuild my life when I needed it the most. It's not just something that I practice. It's what saved my life. My well-being isn't defined by a number on a scale, the row of A's on my report card, or how big my smile is in the picture. It's not about how clear my skin is or how many goals I scored during a game. True wellness runs deeper than that. It's the habits and systems that I set up that help me show up for myself, even when life feels overwhelming. Now, these practices aren't magic, they're habits. And like any habit, they take time to build. But the reward isn't just feeling better in the moment. It's creating a foundation for lasting, sustainable success and wellness that lasts a lifetime. So take the first step, whatever that looks like for you. Start today, because your well-being isn't something you want to put off until tomorrow. The life that you want begins in how you choose to care for yourself, which comes from your daily habits and choices. Remember, you are the change. It starts with you. Thank you.